Good morning, students. Okay, so today's we'll be discussing on client satisfaction via delivery efficiency. So before starting this, a quick recap if you have any questions with regard to previous session. So last week we have discussed about value creating networks for delivery efficiency and customer satisfaction. So any questions in that regard?
So no one has any question.
So have you done this question? So collect the thoughts from this discussion and impact of e-business, how the customer value has been degraded in the recent years, and explain how customers have exploited the e-business models. So have any one of you tried to do this?
So no one has tried.
Mm. So at least you should have tried this worksheet.
Yes, sir.
So can anyone answer me about this question? Connect the takeaway from this discussion and apply to services industry in creating an efficient customer value model in B2B or B2C space.
So in this case, I have just taken the example of the service industry, like in hotel industry. So they are providing service, and what customer is getting over there. So in hotels, they have uh, uh, they have some good food facility and rooms and all. So they are just improving the day by day that thing. So previously, if we see, then there are only few services over there in the room. But now, if you check in into the hotel, then you will find that there is a uh, what to say, a person will come to you and he will take away your luggage and all the and in a cleaning purpose of the rooms also, and they just improve the thing quite well. So every year they are just improving the little things over there. So in this domain, I think they are creating value for the customer.
No, that's okay, but you have to come up with some statistics. So what improvements in terms of data? So what data you can provide? Simply saying that they're improving the rooms, they're improving the facilities doesn't add any value to your answer. Now, what is the data you have when you say that efficient customer value has been created for a B2B or B2C space? Now, when you speak of the hotel industry, so you have to answer first question whether it is a B2B or B2C industry. Second thing what you need to answer is depending upon the type of selection you make previously, what what improvements have been done to create a customer value model. So you have to give the data. Simply saying that you have done this will make your answer ineffective. So do you have any data?
So if you check in any hotel, like I'm talking about some hotels who done this kind of thing, that if you enter to that hotel, then they will collect your all the information. And if another time, if you'll visit the another hotel which is located in another city, at that moment on the previous data that they have collected from you,
It's not that
according to
data
that.
I'm saying. What I'm saying is you pick a hotel Whatever the hotel you pick, 2 star, 3 star, name it. Then tell that these are the things which have added value to the customer, and because of these things, the hotel revenues have increased. Because of these things, the customer satisfaction level has increased. Make a set of tables which depict all this information. Make some set of graphs which see and which show the revenues of the hotels are increasing, and the footfall to those hotels have increased drastically. So this is the type of data which I am saying. Simply saying you go to hotel in city A and then you go to hotel in city B is a useless answer.
Sir, I didn't apply this approach that you are telling.
Yeah,
I
because
will.
whatever you are saying is a story and nobody will listen to your story. So I think
Okay, sir.
you do this worksheet again and you take an example, you do survey for that example, you come up with the numbers, you present those numbers, and then conclude that this is the customer value model which is made by so and so hotel or so and so industry in the last 1 year. Before that they were this, after this span of time now they have achieved this level. Total number of customers reporting to this hotel or shop or whatever is increased by this percent. When we did a survey why it has increased, we found that customers are more happy, that is why they are coming more to this hotel. So this is the type of answer which is being looked for. Otherwise it's a simple one line question, but it requires lot of data to get to a justified answer for this question. So don't tell stories to your teachers. I'm not saying it for me, for anyone. And always come up with the information which can be justified. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, coming on to this question, collect the thoughts from this discussion and impact of the e-business, how the customer value has been degraded in the recent years. And I also explain how customers have exploited the e-business models. No, the fundamental line in this, what is the e-business? Do you know what is e-business? If you don't know e-business, then you should have asked, because this PDF is available to you, I suppose. And if it is, then you should have asked this question.
Uh, so, as far as e-business is concerned, I understand that the purchasing which you have which you are doing from the internet and all that comes under e-business, isn't it?
Yeah, so whenever we do transactions electronically, which converts to certain transactions involving, you know, the monetary aspects, the finance part, they are called the e-transactions, and that type of business is called e-business. So in that e-business, we have a subcategory where any customer or any individual, make transactions for the personal purchases or personal sellings of the things. So that is called e-shopping, and it is a subset of a super category called e-business. Now the question here is how customers have exploited the e-business model. So what do you understand from this line?
So, customer is utilizing fully these platforms and they are doing purchases from there, and sometimes what has happened that they utilize their product, but after some time they just use it and they return the product. So that's how they are exploiting the platform. And other than that, most of the purchases they don't wanna do from the outside, because here at online mode they are getting everything at a very lesser price.
Hmm. Now the
So
question here is how the customer value has been degraded in the recent years.
No, sir, but I don't think so that customer value has been degraded because if you are purchasing a thing from the online one, then they are providing utmost services to you, and if you are complaining anything, then they suddenly take action about it because they don't want to make any kind of defame of their sites and also if you are complaining then definitely they will take action and if you are going to any social media platform and saying about the product or about the company that this company is not providing this much this good and while I'm going there and I'm not finding anything impactful or useful over there then the companies are taking the full responsibility that they will contact you via if you have made the accounts and all then they will contact you and they will try to get a feedback that what you are looking for and all so how can I say that customer value has been degraded? In spite of this, customer value has increased, even though companies are approaching to the customer.
So let me give you an example. So I don't know the authenticity of this experience, but it has come to my knowledge. Uh, some time back, there was a company who was selling rice on a e-business portal like Amazon or Flipkart, and they used to claim this is a superior quality rice and the stuff like that. So they marketed it well, and eventually number of people started, purchasing rice from that company. One fine day, a customer ordered some few kgs of rice from that seller, and the rice were delivered to his doorsteps. And when that fellow started making rice, means it started boiling. So even after 1 hour of boiling, the rice granules were as hard as they could be. Then after finding, and then that person got surprised why this guy is not getting boiled properly. He took out some species, some granules of rice and tried to see. He came to know, he discovered that these are not the rice, these are the plastic rice actually. So then he complained and over to the portal. And when he complained, he got a response saying that this type of company doesn't exist. Similarly, there was a seller who delivered, some customer ordered to him an Apple phone, and when he got the delivery, he got an empty box. So how do you justify this?
Sir, this is the first time I'm hearing that anyone has purchased a plastic rice and all. But uh, but as far as we have seen here and experienced, we never encountered with this type of situations and all.
You will
But
find
if
certain
you are
case studies on Google. You will find lot of stuff there, because there are some companies who just want to make some money for nothing, and they simply come and registered as sellers initially when this business started. They made money and they got out.
yes, sir, but now the security is more concerned. Like now, if you are purchasing from Amazon or Flipkart, then you have to ensure that you are taking the things from the Amazon assured or Flipkart. In Flipkart, there is Flipkart assured thing. So in this regard, if anything happens, then Flipkart will compensate you. And for Amazon, it is also there. There is some kind of thing in Amazon
No, no.
also. If you
So
are
the
purchasing.
point is, it's not Flipkart and Amazon to whom every customer goes and shops. There are hundreds of other sites, hundreds of other e-business models. Like you have Paytm, you have Shopping Clues, you have Snapdeal, you have lots of things, and all are not as secure as Flipkart or Amazon is. So what we have to find among all these business models is to see how the customer value has been degraded. and what is the level of degradation. So the example which I gave you is a worst case example, but there are certain other scenarios which you should Google and get to know. So which will tell how these fellows are exploiting the customers. So one another example can be, tying up with so you are buying a product from some business site and they say that 0% EMI, 0% this thing, what do you call that? 0% interest or interest free EMI. So what these guys actually do is they inflate the price of the product, and whatever the margin they have inflated for, there is a proportion of the margin which is shared by the card company and some proportion or some percentage with the by the vendor or by the seller, sorry, and interest is automatically charged, but to the customer it appears it's interest free EMI. So this can be another example. So where you can say that customer is fooled, uh, and eventually when customer comes to know the authenticity or the exactness of the situation, the conclusion is the customer value gets degraded and customer is prohibited from making such deals over the business portal. So you have to come up with these are just the instances, and you have to come up with the realistic scenarios where you can justify how the customer value has been degraded by so and so company or so and so seller in the recent years. So guys, there is a stiff competition among various business portals like Flipkart, Amazon, or Snapdeal. And because of the stiff margins and stiff competition, people tend to, find out such type of shortcuts to be in the market. But some succeed, some fail. But at what sacrifice? So it's at the sacrifice of customers. It's at the cost of customers. So you have to come up with some examples and explain this, how this customer value can be degraded or has been degraded in the recent years. So one consequence of this stiff competition was the Snapdeal was on the verge of being bankrupt or some few years back, and they were safeguarded by the Tata Group. Tata Group, I think they gave some 100 millions, I don't remember the exact figure, to fund Snapdeal and get back into the market. As a matter of fact, in the recent years, many more vendors have come, like Shopping Clues, a new company who also do the e-business. They have come up. You can compare the business models of Shopping Clues, let's say for example, with the business model of Flipkart or Amazon, and see what are the differences uh, between their models and how they safeguard the customer value, and what are the loopholes in their business model which degrade the customer value. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So you can think in those directions and come up with a very good answer. So these are just not 4 lines. It is a big story. It's a big report in itself. So which requires a proper survey and proper analysis, proper statistical analysis, and then a very good conclusion. And if you again do this assignment without data, without justification, it will have no meaning. Right? Okay, so let's move on to today's discussion. So today we will throw light on achieving client satisfaction via delivery efficiency. So in that regard, we'll be discussing on, like, the first thing, the factors for measuring the client customer satisfaction. Then we'll try to establish a priority list that identifies the most and the least satisfactory services that clients receive from consulting firms. We'll see how we can derive strategies for consultants to achieve the client satisfaction. And again, we'll be concluding with a worksheet. So I've referred to this paper, which is Achieving Client Satisfaction for Engineering Consulting Firms. So which is published in Journal of Management in Engineering at ACSC October 2003 and authored by SL Tang, Ming Lu and Weil Chen. So you can refer to this paper to have a complete details how client satisfaction can be achieved. The primary thing in client satisfaction is the QoS. So what do you understand by QoS? So QoS is actually quality of service. But before discussing my thoughts onto QoS, I would like to know what you think of QoS. Any ideas? So what do you mean by product quality of service or simply quality of service?
So, so quality of service means which customer is wanting, and you are providing the same thing as per the customer expectation. That's the quality of service to the
What do you mean
customer.
by customer expectation?
Here we can take any example, like I want to take the example of Head and Shoulder. And there the customer expectation is that while applying that shampoo, I will get rid of dandruff and all. So yeah, and if I'm paying the price for that, I will get a good quantity of shampoo over there. So if I'm applying and I'm not get rid of that dandruff and all, then that's not the quality of service from the company perspective. And if they are giving the product to me and which are meeting my standards, that I'm paying approx 50 rupees, and for that I'm getting the good quantity of shampoo over there. And second thing is that for what perspective I have purchased that for get rid of dandruff, and I'm getting that thing also, then that's a quality of service, I think.
So let's say on the first application of shampoo over to the head, the dandruff goes away.
Yes, sir.
Next time when you apply, you tend to get hair fall, but you are not aware of this thing because it's initially very, very low. But eventually the rate of hair fall increases in such a manner that customer can never think that it is happening because of the application of this shampoo. So in that case, coming to our previous discussion, the customer value is degraded, and it is implicitly degraded when the customer actually sees the hair loss at a moment when he has lost a good amount of hair. Then at that time he is off, like he's in a situation where he cannot do anything, and his doctor says that you are using a wrong shampoo. But by that time the company has made sufficient business, sufficient revenue, and at the cost of customer value being degraded. So this is another example how the customer value can be degraded. Now coming to the quality of service, the expectation is like my dandruff should be wiped off from my hair scalp. And if this is one thing with regard to this example, so another expectation is it should not have any side effects. So one is the dandruff removal, other is the side effects to the skin, because sometimes you tend to develop allergies because of application of certain chemical, shampoo in this case. So so these are the expectations any customer expects, and if they are met, so then we say that the product is of the relevant quality, otherwise it is irrelevant. Secondly, it varies from product to product. We require certain documents or manuals which are required to understand the product and operation of that product. So if those documents are properly supplied with the product, yes or no, based on that the quality of service can be ascertained. In this example, certain shampoos come with some small slip which says that you have to apply this much amount of shampoo. You have to keep the shampoo applied for so and so time duration, so as to get a maximal impact. So these are the small things which we classify as manuals or documents, so which come with the product. And some nowadays, some companies don't provide such things. They say that customer knows it well, but when it comes to QoS, so it is it is required actually. Third thing is coming to the software product. So it is a B2B business model, it can be. So where let's say some company has asked for some software to be delivered by a services company, and whether that software product is delivered in time with proper quality. So quality means as expected and with proper documentation and manuals. So when all these things are added together, we say that the quality of service is respected. Otherwise, it's just a product delivery and we don't know, and it's not guaranteed whether it will work or not. So in short, we can say that QoS means expected is equal to actual. So whatever was expected by the customer or a company is equal to the actual product delivered. So when expected,
So,
yeah.
uh, suppose an organization give a tender to a company that make a and develop a software for me, and if they have developed and delivered it on time, then it would not consider it quality of service if the other company delivered on time.
No, because quality of service, it simply doesn't mean that the product is delivered on time. It means that the product is delivered on time with proper expectations. So
Okay,
expectations
sir.
means, for example, let's take a imaginary example. A company asked for an elephant from a services company, and they note down the specification. This animal will have 4 legs, one tail, one big trunk, two big ears, etc., etc. They had some old model which had a four-legged animal, one this thing tail, 4 legs, two big ears, and a long mouth. So which they called as a buffalo. So they customize the product and they say that they put on their nose a big trunk, and they enlarge the ears more. And this product is similar to the product elephant. And they gave an extra feature in this product that this animal also gives milk.
Oh my God.
So so they try to convince the customer that I have made a product which is beyond your expectations because this product also gives milk. Rest everything is same. It has a long trunk. It has two teeth, set of what do you call teeth coming out, and big ears, everything. But it also gives milk. Now, what do you think that the quality of service is maintained in this case?
No, sir.
So, this is how the service companies tend to deal with the products. They sometimes think extra, a step extra, which violates the QoS factor, and sometimes they don't think at all. They simply deliver the product. So this is sometimes these things happen in the companies when an elephant is expected and a buffalo is customized and delivered to the customer. So quality of service can also be anticipated from this example. Let's say a customer wants a table, a four-leg table. So the vendor supplies the table. Everything is fine. Table is very good, beautiful, well furnished. But when you start writing using the table, means you're writing on the table moves. So this means that legs are not proper. So this means that although the product is delivered with proper timelines and all that, but the product quality is not maintained. So this is a realistic example. It happens most of the times. So then what happens is the vendor will come and it will apply certain shortcuts, like it will add some extra piece of wood to the to the to the legs of the table so that the table is doesn't move. So like this, these are the workarounds then the vendor tries to apply, and but at what cost? The cost is quality of service. You don't know how to make a table and you are still making a table and selling it for the sake of money. So
So
I have, yeah,
one question is more. Uh, so suppose a person has joined an organization where he has to do the work, but um, he can't do that type of work after
Hmm.
joining the work. So in that case, he will not be able to give the quality of service to the organization which he has joined.
Hmm.
So I think in most of the cases it is happening in actual life. In this scenario, so that person should be leave the organization if he is not providing the quality of service in this manner, isn't it? What's your opinion, sir?
So quality of service is applicable in all the scenarios from products to the people. Even when people are serving to other people in a company, if you're not doing the things as anticipated and expected by your boss and hence the organization, then you have to definitely make a transition. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, first of all, in order to check whether any company or any individual also, so whether he's doing a quality product or not, we have to think of certain things which will ensure that we are doing the work diligently. So why a client will run away? Maybe because of timely treatment not received. So if any client walks over to your company and asks for something and you don't attend to him, so at the beginning itself the quality of service clause is violated and client will go off. Let's say you receive the client well and you treat him well, you understand his problems and you try to give him some solutions. Then point number one is satisfied, but you are not able to deliver the product. So in that case, it leads to product dissatisfaction and client will again go away. Now, let's suppose that you do the product with 100% quality and all that, and a few of them start doing business and there is a competition. Now, the client is under stiff trouble because he cannot face the competition because he's dependent on you. Now, you have to revive the client, you have to safeguard his business, and you have to keep on providing him long-term solutions. Not only for a first product, but with the chain of products so that he stays in the competition. This is a point where the customer value comes into picture or you value your customer and you make him stay in the competition by providing more and more solutions and eventually a long-term relationship starts. So, but if you are not able to find him the solutions and capable of doing business with competition, the quality of QoS parameter, quality of service is violated and the client will change its supplier or the vendor. Or it can be a case that the client comes back to you and seeking alternatives for betterment by his own set of models or ideas. In that case also you have to listen to the client, point number one, and agree with his proposals or give him new proposals. This will also yield to a long term relationship with the client. But if you don't listen to or you don't heed to either of these points, what will happen is few of the clients will simply move away and few of the clients will simply die in the business. But in both the cases, the quality of service will be violated. Make sense? So another point is poor customer service. So if you don't provide the customer service, that is a post product delivery services to the clients, so what will be the problems which arise as a consequence of which? So ending business relationships, definitely the business relationships will end. So the business relationships will end, and so what will happen actually? The product which we have supplied to any of the vendors, so he will try to fix the product issues himself, or he will be forced to wait too long for service. And representatives don't know their history of value and cannot switch between communication channels easily. So these are the four reasons when you don't give service to your customers, uh, what happens, because of which the business relationships end. Or when you market a product, you do lots of social advertisements, or you do desperate follow-ups with the client, with the customer, sorry, or you are not in a position to connect. Like for example, nowadays there are a lot of phone calls coming from different banks. So we are offering bank loan, we are offering credit cards. These are the products which those banks are selling, and they are trying to impact upon the individual customers, either by consistent calling, maybe twice a day or thrice a day. So this is what we mean by desperate following. So what will happen? The customer will tend to feel irritated and will start disconnecting or rejecting the calls as and when the calls are from these bankers. Have you guys ever experienced such type of phone calls where the customer executive, who is representing a particular bank, calling you regularly, maybe during mornings or evenings? Have you experienced this thing?
Anyone has experience?
You guys are receiving such calls?
Yes, sir.
So this is called social media overkills. You are killing your customer yourself by irritating him. Second thing is, the customer is talking to you, but you are not able to connect to the customer what he's expecting. You are saying something different and he's expecting something different. This is what we mean by fail to connect. Self promotional means promoting on Facebook, we are selling this and this product. Like nowadays we see the advertisements of like many colleges which are promoting themselves. We are seeing advertisements of many builders who are seeing so and so projects at so and so location, so and so EMIs, and the perfect quality. These are called self promotional things. And if their frequency is more, the prospective customer tends to feel irritated. Next is the over tweeting. So you are daily, hourly doing tweets, please buy my product, please buy my product. So what will happen? The customers or the prospective customers will feel frustrated and they will never come to you. So these are the examples of poor customer service effects. So if they are handled properly, you are in profit, the vendor is in profit, you will have long term relationship. If you don't do it diligently, you will lose it. So this is the customer satisfaction by industry. So typically, government sector has a very less, percentage of customer satisfaction, only 67%, although I believe it should be below 67 also. So hotel and food, so these are the people who tend to satisfy their customers more, followed by healthcare and financial services. So banks also don't have, nowadays they are coming like anything, but some time back banks quality of service was pretty low. So financial services, again, it's not that high. Healthcare, they claim to be better, but the customer value exploitation is more. You should have heard of an event which happened in one of the hospitals in Delhi, and that a patient was charged about 16 lakhs for treatment of dengue. So this is a pretty good example of customer value exploitation, customer value degradation. So customers value that so and so hospital was very good. Patient goes to the hospital. The doctor say you are having a dengue and you need to get admitted. So you are here exploiting the customer because we know the fact that for dengue we don't require admission in a hospital ward. So it needs to be treated at home with certain precautions and some certain basic medicines. But you inflate the bill for 16 lakhs. So somehow the patients or the customer is satisfied from the hospital, but in this specific example, so you are exploiting the customer satisfaction. You are trying to kill the customer just to make few lakhs. So this is called customer value degradation. Make sense? Any questions, guys, in this regard?
Sir, that in the case of financial services, so the number is so high, but most of the people lose in financial services. And they will say that this is the terms and condition, and according to it, we will not pay like that. Most of the cases happen in financial services, but the number is showing very high over
That's
here.
true. So on documents, it's this. But nowadays, like as every company, as every group, as every domain has certain loopholes, which are which are not highlighted till the time they are debugged. So document wise, yes, they have certain clause, they have certain this, they have certain feedback forms, they have proper things, proper processes in place. But at the end of the day, customer or a common individual should know about all these things. Because they say, because let's say for example, you go for a home loan, it's a financial services transaction. So when you go for a home loan, the first thing is you need to have a 20-year record of that flat or that land, which is approved by the banking institution. You should have that. Second thing is the land or the map should be approved by the concerned municipality. The third thing is bank should give approval to all those legal papers and documents. So this is a clean aspect. But when you actually approach the bank, they will say, oh, this customer is having huge earning potential. So let's not say no to this home loan request which is putting forward. Now, so this means that bank is choosing the middle path. Bank is not seeing 100% validity or legality of the property. He's simply saying that it's a good, he can be a good customer to us because he's having a huge earning potential or stuff like that. And he simply approves the loan. So around 10-15 years back, ICICI wanted to come into this market and they were simply doing like this. And that is how, and customer is satisfied, oh, my loan is sanctioned. And customer is happy, bank is happy, builder is happy, everyone is happy, and story is happy. But after 10 years down the line, government says that this property is illegal. Now the question to you is, do you feel that it is the flaw of the quality of service by the builder? It is the flaw of quality of service by the bank? And do you see that financial services are not doing proper quality services? How do you see this situation? Then you will come to know why this is at the third spot. Now here we see quality of service as bank has given a proper attention to the customer who is an applicant for home loan. He has sanctioned him the loan with all the approvals and everything is fine. They claim that we have serviced the customer with proper quality of service. But okay, if they claim, do you agree with this claim? Question number 1.
What's the question, sir?
So the question is whether the bank has a customer has come to the bank and he has serviced the customer with proper quality of service. He has given him the loan. He has given him everything black and white. Now, do you feel that quality of service is maintained in this?
Yes, sir. The customer is getting the thing what he wants.
Exactly, exactly. So that is what customer is happy, banker is happy, builder is happy, everyone is happy. But after some time down the line, government says that this property is illegal. Then who is at fault? Bank will say I'm not at fault because this fellow came to me for a loan and I gave him the loan and I have done my job. Now the question is it the duty of the bank to analyze the property carefully? If yes, then for this case he will not give the loan because he will say property is illegal, we cannot sanction it. But if it does so, they are losing business. So these are the some tricky situations which are exploited by certain domain relevant companies, claiming that our quality of service is better despite the flaws. That is why financial services at spot number 3. Similarly, you go to hotel and food, they say we give proper quality food, this. But it's not guaranteed that you will get good food. Although the quality of service process which they are following is in place and strictly followed. So the takeaway is there are certain loopholes, there are certain flaws which are sacrificed or which are not listened to just to maintain the business. Anyway, so that is a question to all of us, like how we can handle these things. But this is a survey which actually justifies saying that health and food is the number 1 and financial services number 3 and blah blah blah.
So one question more.
Yeah,
Sir, previous slide, please.
yeah.
So in that, yeah, customer satisfaction in information industries. This one, would you please elaborate this on information industry customer satisfaction?
Yeah, now there is a transformation because this is not the latest slide. It is an old slide around 10 years back. So previously what used to happen is in companies like Wipro and TCS or all the service companies. So any company goes to these service companies and say, okay, I want to make this software. Very good. These are our cost sheets. These are our charges which will, okay. Now the software is ready. Let's say, and software is delivered to so and so company by these IT services companies. Now that company comes back to, let's say, Wipro or TCS and say that, oh, I want to add one more page to this. So they say, well, oh, we'll charge this much. And that's a huge charge just for adding one page. So what used to happen is like these companies used to charge huge, good amount of money, even for small enhancements. And the customer used to feel very upset that I have to spend so much just for addition of this page, just for addition of this button or addition of this dialog box or just extending the capabilities of my backend database. So eventually what used to happen is like customer used to switch clients and vendors. Customer used to switch the vendors from TCS to Wipro or Wipro to some ABC or XYZ. So that is why the customer satisfaction survey during those days was pretty low. Now the scenario is changed and there are a lot of startups which have come and these companies have to uh, suffer from some losses also during some of the consecutive years where they were not able to maintain profits, and automation stuff has come in and a lot of things have come in, and the charges which they were charging initially for one software delivery have come down as well, and But yes, this used to happen some years back. So that's why the customer satisfaction by industry, and when it comes to information industry, it was pretty low.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So again, bank customer satisfaction. So some years back, customers were more satisfied when a bank used to have more branches. Even in a small village, there used to be a bank branch where any individual can go and do the transactions. Then came the scenario of ATMs, and a bank who is having more ATMs, people will be more satisfied. Then came the scenario of internet banking. Now there is no need to go to ATMs or bank branch. You do everything over the internet. So based on situation, scenario, and time, the level of satisfaction parameters with regard to banking changed. Initially, the criteria was branches, then ATMs, and now the internet banking. So the takeaway is, with the advent of, with the start of, e-business or e-age, I will say, the parameters for customer satisfaction are also changing. So people tend to do things more on internet. People don't tend to go out nowadays. They don't want to walk to a branch, or they don't want to walk to an ATM for doing some money transactions nowadays. Trend is changing. And the bank institutions who are offering more e-facilities, like e-lockers, also a new concept has come. So they tend to satisfy more number of customers. So this means other factors apart from the E factor, as we discussed, are as follows. Professionalism of service. I think you understand this term well now. So you discuss what is being discussed for, with proper things in black and white. This is what we mean by professionalism. You don't yell stories. You talk to the point and strict in sense. Competitiveness of service. I understand that you should know this. You are offering a service which is of superior quality. That is how you ensure its competitiveness. If there is no quality, you will not be given a chance. Third category is the timeliness. If you are giving the things in time, you should be clear about this now. Supervision at implementation stage. So what you ask for is what you get. So coming to an example where, for the sake of elephant, a buffalo was customized. If a client is given the opportunity to inspect the product which is under development, or which is at the development or implementation stage, then this is what I mean by supervision at implementation stage. And at the same time, the client will say, no, you are just customizing a buffalo. I want an elephant. You redesign it. So this is another parameter for, customer satisfaction. Degree of innovation. The product should be innovative. Again, coming to, buffalo example. So here, the company tried to do something extraordinary in innovation, but it degraded the quality. So you cannot innovate products or at the cost of quality. The degree of innovation should add value, or should add more quality to the product. It should not degrade the quality of the product. So this is an important parameter for customer satisfaction. Product support. So once you ship the product, there should be adequate support to it. I have seen with many communication vendors like, Jio. Jio has revolutionized the communication industry. They started offering, free internet and stuff like that. Initially, the quality of service was very good, but by the passage of time, since they have captured the market and they have probably earned money, whatever they were looking for, now it has started giving the same internet, the signal fluctuations. Signals tend to come and go. The product quality has gone down. And if you talk to the customer care, they will simply note down, but they will not support you well. So if product support is not there, customer satisfaction will eventually get down. Readiness that the professionals, technical staff could be reached by the client. If there is a product fault, client should be in a position to contact the engineers, the technical staff, the professionals who had built the product. If your technical staff is not ready, not available, customer satisfaction will go down. Now the question is, so I have seen some companies like, okay, so there is a service company, let's say some company ABC who had tied with some company, some product company, and they asked to deliver the product. But they delivered the product, but once the product delivery was done, the entire team of engineers resigned from that company. And when the customer came back and asked for so and so people who had shipped the product, just to discuss that if there are any flaws in the product or not, the company said that those people have resigned. We have a new team of people who can help you. But the problem is the new team of people don't know the product intricacies from the day one. So it will take more time in coming to the level to which the previous set of people were there, and eventually it will lead to customer dissatisfaction, and that customer will not come to that service company again. So this means that retention is also an important parameter in service companies, where you need to retain important employees so that you can do the post-product support to the client. Enthusiasm of professional and technical staff in surmounting problems raised by the client. So let's say you deliver a product and the product has some problems, and if the service company is not in a position to listen to the problems or the criticizes which the client is making, then probably it will be bad, and the client will go away. You should be enthusiastic to listen to the flaws which were made in the product so that you can fix those flaws. And you should be courteous, and you should have proper soft skills. You should not be harsh at workplace to handle the situations. Otherwise, if you're very harsh, then customer satisfaction will be degraded. So coming to these things, so these are just the instances of what we discussed. So what is commonly missing? So most of the times, product innovation is missing. So the service company will simply say, what you asked for and I did, with full confidence, although you didn't do. So product innovation is missing. Professionalism means I don't know the best way to do it, but still I will do. So this statement, if made by any person, is highly unprofessional statement. You should always tend to find the best way. You cannot simply make a statement, I don't know. If you simply say this, then you are at fault. Product support, I know the issue, escalated to R&D and waiting for the fix. So this is a proper statement which is commonly missing, waiting for the fix. And soft skills, I got your problem and don't bug me and come tomorrow, I have other works to do. That is pretty bad. So these are not the soft skills. And if you are harsh at the workplace and you are making such statements, then you are in trouble. Delivery efficiency will certainly be impacted because people will not listen to you and you will be in muzzle, And customer asked buffalo and you produced a goat. So that is again a bad on the services part. Any questions in this regard, guys?
And that's a professionalism thing. I don't know the best way to do it, but still I do.
That's bad.
So he,
That's bad because you are a professional. You are an expert. You simply cannot say, I don't know. I don't know the best way to do it. If you don't know, then why are you here? You are a heart specialist. Let's say you are a heart specialist and you know there is a problem in the heart and you don't know how to fix it, then you are not a heart specialist, right?
yes, sir.
But still I will do it. That anyone can do. No, even a laborer can try to fix a heart. I will do, but I don't know how to do.
No, sir, if he is a professional, then definitely he will do. How can he say that I don't know?
Exactly. So that's what I mean.
Okay. So one question is more from your previous talk. You said that a customer a customer come again, and but in that meantime the service service company has fired that fellow who can fix that problem.
Hmm.
But yeah, so my question is that people comes and goes in the industry. Okay, suppose and they were expert in something, and after that new things come and they are not expert, and it's the demand of the time. So you hire the new people and you fire the previous one. You didn't retain them. What was the work they were doing? If they properly maintain a manual type of thing, then if the customer will come again, then the new person they can also fix that one. So when it is a demand of time to hire new people, then where did it matter, sir? If new people will fix up that problem,
But at what
do the
cost? Because ramping up a new person takes time and money, right? Let's say I developed a hardware and I had a team of
yeah,
40 people. And in a team of 40 people, I had one person who was an architect of the hardware who designed the whole product. And other
okay,
people were coders and verification engineers or whatever. Architect is the most important entity. Let's suppose this architect is, offered by some other company, and he goes to that company, and this company allows him to go. But tomorrow, the client of this company comes back and asks for some modifications in the architecture of the product. But your architect is missing, and nobody knows this. What the company will do? Company will hire a new architect and try to ramp him up as soon as possible and make the client wait for some time. But client will say, no, no, I don't have time. My business is losing. Will you pay for my business? Services will say, this is the what we can do at this point, sir. We don't have the architect with us. He's with a different company now. The client will do what? He will go to that company where that architect is working. And here the business is lost, right? Now to fix this,
yeah,
whenever a person leaves any company, you should have documented all the things so that if any other person comes, he reads the document and ramps himself immediately within a span of, let's say, as much time as possible. This is a strategy. Second thing which what this company can do is he can retain the architect by justifying or by satisfying his requirements or expectations. If no, then some other works. He give him a better role or whatever. So these are the options available with any company to retain people or to document the things so that their business is not getting impacted. Right?
okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So now there is a difference between satisfaction and loyalty. So satisfaction means, okay, your shampoo example. So I applied shampoo, dandruff went away, I'm satisfied. But long term, I had a hair loss. So I'm not loyal to your product because I discovered lately that the product was faulty. So this is the difference between satisfaction and loyalty. Satisfaction can lead to loyalty, which is the next milestone of satisfaction actually, or relation building actually. But reverse is not true. Loyalty can never lead to satisfaction because it's a reverse engineering thing. And you can satisfy customer with word of mouth advertising or something like that. But you cannot have a loyal relationship that comes from understanding, coordination, exchange of things and stuff like that. And when you have a loyalty, you can sacrifice some prices. You can forgive. When you are loyal, you can forgive the small mistakes. You can be resistant to competition and help with word of mouth advertising. So the takeaway is 66% of the customers, you know, switched companies due to poor customer services. So this was quite prevalent during 2005 to 2010 time frame. So customers used to switch companies because of poor customer services. but the relationships which converge to loyalty, they are still existing. For instance, there are few clients with the Tata Group who are still with the Tata Group, although there are new competitive companies which have come up like Accenture or Capgemini or Wipro and stuff like that. But the customers who remained loyal to the Tata, they are still with Tata, and that is how the Tata is number one service company in India. Strategies for consultants to achieve a customer satisfaction. So the first strategy, the first thing which you should have to have the customer satisfaction is personalization. Be personal to the customer. Now to exploit this idea, certain banks, if you've seen their advertisements, so the advertisement have an emotional impact. They tend to be personal to the individual. So if you have that personalization instinct, you know, so people will come to you more and tend to feel satisfied. But will it guarantee the loyalty? That depends upon your consistent quality of service. So if you are satisfied, personalization is important to satisfaction. So companies using loyalty programs have seen 20% increase in the retention rates. So this is the takeaway. You should be personal to your customer. You should not just talk from the top and simply behave like a insensitive professional guy. You should be a professional, personalized guy to your customer. Then keep trust, keep the promises. Whatever you commit to your manager at individual level or whatever you commit to the client, that should be kept. You should motivate and excite the developers via internal marketing. So this means that you should always motivate the people who are working with you if you're a senior consultant via internal marketing or via discussions or whatever. And don't attend to the customers. You should help the customers actually. If you have this instinct, then you will be a good banker. If you have this instinct, you will be a good shampoo maker. You should understand that by application of this shampoo, long-term implications are hair loss. You should help a customer. You should not get a business from the customer. Try to have an emotional relationship. Even in the workplace, you help the manager to get through his milestones. You just not report to the manager. Establish yourself as a good brand. So eventually what will happen, if you are an individual helping your manager, you will be a good brand. If you are helping a customer, you will be a good product brand. Like this. Don't have a self-centered kind of approach that if I do this, I will get this. Rather, you should think I should help getting him this thing, getting my manager this thing. Eventually things will come to you automatically. Google's slogan, don't need to exploit users to make money, honest and free of cheating. So that is what also Google believes in. That is why Google has a big, customer base. Not only in the software domain, but in the hardware domain as well nowadays. So brand identity, if you have a brand as an identity, then you will have millions of dollars coming to your pocket automatically. So the Google culture, for instance, is the people there are smart and they are determined and they favor ability over experience. If you're able to get the things done, then they will favor you over a person who don't know whether he's able to get the things done or not, but he's experienced. And they're smart people who believe in serving their customers with loyalty, not with satisfaction. Their motto is the customer loyalty on customer satisfaction. And the Google culture is the people there come from different areas, different countries, different domains, different religion, and they maintain an open culture. Now, open culture leads to more, customer satisfaction at the employee level and efficiency in delivery or delivery efficiency. They deliver products well because they are capable. They deliver products well because they hail from different walks of life, and they maintain an open culture because saying that anyone can go to anyone to discuss anything. There are no boundaries, no constraints, nothing. They have one goal: product quality, service quality, and delivery efficiency. And strategies for conduct service. So once you are done with your product and you are servicing your product well, coming to the point again. So the post product analysis, which sometimes some people call as post-mortem analysis, is the conducting of the service. So what type of service? Ask the question from the client. We call it a questionnaire survey. What type of product you got, whether satisfied with the product, what are your future plans, will you come back to us again, what improvements you want in the product, what type of maintenance enhancements you want in the product, like that. Receive product feedback, get this feedback from the client, analyze the data, and set goals for improvement. When you set goals for improvement, it is another marketing milestone for you, where you can tell to the customer, these are our product improvements which we are planning to do in a span of next, let's say, 1 year down the line. So these are the goals which you will set yourself for the improvement and tell it to the customer, and customer will definitely come back to you because they will think that this fellow, this company, this servicing company, they are introspective in nature and they are self improving their product quality. Definitely it makes sense to go back to them. So this is what we mean by set goals for product improvement. And these we call as post-mortem analysis, where we conduct surveys once we have done the delivery of the product. Make sense? Any questions so far?
No question, sir.
Okay. So this is what I wanted to discuss with you. Although it was a short topic, and it's quite interesting to know, and it's quite important to understand this and imbibe this in your day-to-day routines as well, as it will help you to grow as a personality who should believe in making a loyal relationships at the individual level also. And once you have a loyal relationship even with your colleagues, uh, you will be a successful person in the end. So the takeaway from this discussion is you should be loyal to your surroundings. Your surroundings can be your people, your colleagues, your friends, your teachers, and when you are in a business, your surroundings are typically your customers. Loyalty, try to gain it and try to be consistent on it. And if you do this, you will be a successful man, successful professional, successful human being in the end. And stick to this. So now I would like to know from you the companies which lose business because of poor customer satisfaction. This is your assignment. You should do enough Google onto this, and you will get a lot of companies which failed because of improper or poor customer satisfaction. And try to see what were the faults in those companies, and try to see how you could have fix those loopholes. And finally, assignment. So from this worksheet answer, identify the reasons because of which those companies lost business, which lead to customer attrition. So these two things will help you understand and digest the topic gradually and exhaustively. And guys, this is what I'll have for today. Any questions in this regard, you can ask and we can discuss.
So I have one question.
Yeah.
You talk about that you should be personalized with the customers and all.
Mhm.
But uh, as a salesperson, you are working in a company and you have to sell the product, and they you have the targets and all, and your boss is demanding that you need to complete this and this and this. Then at that moment you will be more focused on to completing your target, not to personalize the customer at that moment actually. And practically it has happened that whether you are a LIC agent or you are working for any company, and you are working as a sales person, sales and marketing. So there you try to get the more results. You are not focusing on that, and the customers you have got, you will be more personalized with them. In current scenario, it is like that. In that scenario, how can a person be personalized with the customer? He will more focus on to more revenue and completing the target.
No. So you are wrong actually. When you are a salesman, when you are a salesperson, you go to, let's say, 5 people. You tend to collect their data, understand them well. You come home in the evening and you try to understand their pain points. What are they asking for? What is their requirement? And accordingly, you develop a strategy saying that uh, customer one should be handled this way, customer two should be handled this way, because they have different pain points which tend to converge for a given one product which your company is selling. So this is how you tackle the customers, and you save the customer information in a report, right? Save the customer information in a report, and whenever you go back to the customers again, you have that information in hand, and you tend to ask them, okay, so last year I had given you this product, how are you feeling, what are your further pain points, or what more you want. So this is how you develop the customer relationships as a salesman. Definitely your goal is to meet the targets on per month basis, but whatever the targets you meet, you make your targets loyal, right?
Yes, sir. So one question is more. Okay, I agree with this that the satisfaction leads to the loyalty, but I don't think so that nowadays any customer can be loyal. If he is getting some more offers or in lower prices and all, then definitely that person will switch to that another company. So loyalty doesn't exist right now.
No, it's not the case. I have seen people who are working in big MNCs for the last 20 years, 25 years of their age, because they were satisfied with the company policies. People don't switch from Google so frequently because Google is a company which gives all the opportunities. This is the typical example. People don't switch from companies like Barclays or companies like Intel, or because they're satisfied there. But when you are working in a company where you are not satisfied, but you are just working for the sake of money and knowledge, so then after 1 year or 2 years down the line, you will make a change, isn't it?
So in the case of doing job, sir, some people don't want to change. If you are working with a company for longer period of time, and at that moment you are at that stage where you can't handle the change, you want stability on your life. But in the case of product, where people can switch anytime to one product to another product.
You're
Isn't
right.
it the case?
You're right. So why people switch from one product to another product? Because the new product is meeting their requirements, which the current product was not able to meet. For example, um, Patanjali claims that my shampoo is better than shampoo from some other company, let's say Procter and Gamble or whatever. Now Patanjali says I'm an Indian and my products are pure, what do you call that, herbal or organic, and they have no side effects. Now let's say customer was using that Procter and Gamble's shampoo, and he was getting some problems. Since he was getting problems, he shifted to Patanjali, and from his product, Patanjali's shampoo, he's satisfied because I'm not having hair loss, dandruff is gone, no skin rashes and stuff like that. Now let's say in this scenario, third company comes and he says, I am giving you similar to Patanjali at the same price. In that case, customer will not change. Now let's say that third vendor says, and giving you the same product at less price. Then definitely this was a pain point for the customer, that he is buying a product for more price which he is getting for lesser price now. He will make a change. So this means that if any new vendor, if any new company comes which take cares of the pain points of the customer, it will excite the customer to make a change. Otherwise the customer will not change just for the sake of change, right?
Yes, sir.
Because in this context, pricing is a attribute for customer satisfaction.
Okay,
Nowadays
thank you.
all the companies don't meet all the customer satisfaction attributes. That's why customers are changing here and there. But if you get any company which is meeting all the attributes of the customer satisfaction, customers will remain loyal to this company. But since there is competition, daily new thing comes which is a pain point for the customer, and there is a frequency of change of the customers from one product to another product. So that is a takeaway. And how we can plug this? This is a vicious circle. Eventually it will be plugged when the market will become mature and there will be no competition. Immature markets or evolving markets usually see such trends actually. Okay. Any other questions?
According to you, which is the most important, customer loyalty or customer satisfaction? Which is the first one we should focus
Customer
on?
satisfaction is the number one. If you keep the customer satisfaction consistent over the years, the customer will become loyal to you, and eventually customer loyalty will come. So customer loyalty is an eventual consequence of customer satisfaction if it is kept consistent. Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
So okay guys, this is what I'll have for today, and see you next week. Have a great time ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Yeah.
Bye.